Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know, I'm Autumn Renee, and I'm a 23-year-old foster parent. I make videos about foster care, single mom life, baby and toddler products, and all things related. Today we're going to be talking about my infant first aid kit that I have created for my foster home. And this is specifically for children under 2 years of age, because that is the age range that I currently have in my home. And these are kinds of the things that are going to be required, most likely by whatever agency you choose to go through. I went through the state. For those of you who don't know, I live in North Texas. This is what was required of me to have in my home. You might be surprised by some of the things that I have and also some of the things that I don't have. So I want to go ahead and quickly go through what I have here in my kit. So first you're going to see I have this toolbox here. I picked this up for about $10 on sale at Walmart. They do make medical lock boxes, but they're pretty expensive. They can be up to like $100. So I decided to just go with this little plastic toolbox instead. It does have to be double locked. That is a rule in foster care, and honestly all parents should follow it just to be safe. So I do keep this in a cabinet that's childproof locked, and I also have this little lock on here as well, so it is double locked. It is pretty spacious, so it can fit quite a bit in there, which I like. It's also clearly labeled as a first aid kit. Don't mind my terrible handwriting, but you should definitely label it in case anyone in your home, a babysitter, grandma, social worker, whoever, can find it and know what it is. Over here I have just a flashlight and some extra batteries. This can be helpful if you need to look down the throat or your eyes, and just to have for emergencies in case the lights go out. It's just an extra flashlight to have on hand. Over here in this little compartment I have a little sticky note here that has these emergency numbers. I have the 911 and then my non-emergency for the police and then poison control. And then in there, this little box, if I can get it open, there we go. I have just this little first aid kit guide. It's always good to have an up-to-date first aid guide in case there's a question you have or something you need to get really fast, and you just never know if your phone's dead or whatever and you need some information. It's just good to have a little guide in there. In this compartment I just have some little things such as cotton balls and Q-tips, some safety pins. I also have a little thread needle in there. I also have these disposable gloves, and there's a little CPR piece there, mouth guard, that's the word, to use in case I need it. So those are all just little things that are required to have in my first aid kit that I just keep there in case I need them. So everything else that I keep in here I actually have out so you guys can see. I knocked some of it over, but we'll just start over here. I have just this little medical tape. This is great if you need to secure a gauze or some other kind of sterile pad on your kid. So this is good to have, just some little medical tape. Going along with that over here, I have just some Band-Aids. I actually have multiple boxes of Band-Aids in here. I just kind of stuffed it full to save space. So I have all kinds of different shapes of Band-Aids in here. I also have this trauma pad in case, God forbid, you have a really bad bleeding injury. You can just have this ready. In addition to that, I have just these little non-stick pads as well as some sterile gauze. Going along with that, I also have this triple antibiotic ointment to help prevent any infections. So just basic first aid stuff here. I also have some Kleenex boxes over here. Obviously, I don't keep this one in my first aid kit, but I just have it in my house. And then I do keep this little one in the first aid kit itself, just in case I need some tissues. Another great hack for tissues, guys, is to use an old t-shirt. You can just keep reusing it and then wash it rather than having to use a whole bunch of tissues. But I do like to keep a couple on hand just in case they do come in handy. Okay, moving on from there. I do keep some just blunt scissors, just something required to have in your first aid kit in case you need to quickly cut some clothes off or cut some gauze or anything like that. Going along with this is probably one of the best things you can have in an infant first aid kit, and this is called the Nose Frida. If you guys have not heard of this, I feel like most people have. It's all over the internet, but if you haven't, basically what you do is you put this in your baby's nose, and then on this end, you actually suck the boogers out. Don't worry, it doesn't get in your mouth. It has these little filters that go in here that keeps it from getting in your mouth, but it's great to get your baby not stuffed up, because for those of you who don't know, Young babies actually breathe through their nose, so if their nose is stopped up, that can be really uncomfortable and even dangerous for them, so that's just a great thing to have. Some people use those little bulb nose aspirators. If you want to use that instead, if you're more comfortable with that, that's up to you. Personally, I think this is a great invention, so I definitely have one of those. I also have over here just some Vicks Baby Rub. This was not required to have in my first aid kit, but I just decided to put it in here because I feel like if your baby has a bad cough, or cold or something, I feel like it could really help. A lot of people recommend it, so I just picked some up. I also have some petroleum jelly, which can come in handy for a lot of reasons, but mainly if you need to check your baby's temperature rectally, which is the most accurate. This kind of helps, smooth things up down there. So over here, I have just some alcohol prep pads and antiseptic wipes. This was just something that was required to have in my first aid kit and can help, clean and disinfect an area really quickly if you need it. Over here is another product that was not required, but definitely recommend. This is the Frida Baby Windy, and it sounds kind of weird, but basically they have just these little applicators in here that you put in your baby, and they help relieve any gas or tummy problems. For those of you who know, a gassy baby is not a happy baby, so if you can do anything to help prevent any kind of gas or colic, that's just great. And I love that this is just kind of a natural remedy. It's not any kind of medicine in here. It's just this little applicator. It looks like that. And it's just nice to have. So I have that in here. I also have some infants ibuprofen and some infants Tylenol, just a little off-brand here. And these are both great to have. You might be wondering why I have both ibuprofen and Tylenol, because they're both fever reducers and pain relievers, but they are good for different ages and for different reasons. I won't go into that right now. I might make a separate video on later. You can let me know in the comments below if you want me to. Basically, you should just talk to your doctor about what you need to use, but it's good to have both on hand. And here's some just bigger Band-Aids. Over here, I have just some tweezers, good for taking out splinters or anything like that. I also have just this little self-adhesing wrap, which is good if you need to make a quick sling or wrap any kind of injured body part. Hopefully you would not have any problems like that with an infant, but just in case, I do have it. I also have this little cold press. It can also be heated in the microwave if it needs to be a hot press. I do have that. And this is actually my thermometer, guys. This is the Kinza Care thermometer, and I could not say anything better about this. This thermometer is awesome. You can use it in all the different ways. You can use it under the arm, in the mouth, rectally, any way you'd like. It actually connects with an app and gives you all kinds of awesome advice. It's basically just a really accurate smart thermometer, and I really recommend it. It comes in this nice little carrying case to keep it all disinfected, and that's just the instructions for it. So I definitely recommend that. You should also have a backup thermometer just in case. And I do have 2 other first aid kits. I have one in my diaper bag and one in my car, which is required. So I do have 2 more thermometers located there. Here is just some gripe water. This is once again something that's not it is recommended, but it's not, you don't have to have it, but a lot of people swear by this. It helps with upset tummies and colic and hiccups. So I just got some of that in case I need it. And this is just some hydrocortisone cream. Great if your baby has any kind of eczema or rash or any kind of sensitive skin issue, which a lot of younger babies do. So definitely recommend having some of that. That is basically what is required to have in my first aid kit for young infants. Some of you might be surprised that I don't have children's Benadryl or children's cough syrup or anything like that. That is because that is not recommended to give to children under 2 years of age. I know some people choose to give that to the infants, after they've 6 months and above or whatever. And that's fine. If some people want to do that, that's up to them. But you should definitely talk to your doctor. And as foster parents, we are not allowed to just give medication like that when it's not recommended and not on the box that you can do it. So I'm not allowed to just give my 6-month-old Benadryl without having doctor permission. So I do not have any of that on hand. But I would if I had older children placements. So if you are going to have older children placements, definitely look into getting some of those older children's medicines. One other thing I do want to talk about is these things I do have in my house. I don't keep them in the first aid kit specifically, but it is something you're going to need. And that is just things like nail clippers for babies. I definitely recommend getting the ones that have this little hole so you can see their nail. Or even the ones that have a light. This one doesn't have a light. I probably should get one that has a light. But any kind of something to be able to file down their nails so they don't scratch their face. I also have just this little scalp brush, or for older babies, you might just want to get a regular brush to help with the dry skin. So just some hand sanitizer to keep everything sanitary. This is just some little nighttime eczema balm if your baby has really bad eczema. And also just some soothing lotion. Same thing if you have any kind of rashes or anything, very common in babies, so good to have some of that on hand. Hopefully your baby would never get a sunburn, but if you did, it'd be good to have some aloe on hand. These are just kind of things I have around the house in case I need them. Some other things you might have is like an infant toothbrush, obviously some soothing bath wash, even maybe some oatmeal bath packets. Those kind of things are all great to have for young babies. So that is basically it, guys. That is what I have in my first aid kit. Let me know in the comments below if you think that I have missed something, or if you're surprised by anything that wasn't included. And I will talk to you guys next time.